Welcome to Thought for the Day. My name's Graham and I'm a reader here in the parish of Portishead, and I'm speaking to you today from the chancel in St. Peter's Church. One of the many verses in the Bible that make me uncomfortable, make me wriggle in my seat a bit, it's Luke chapter 12, verse 22, where Jesus tells his disciples not to worry. Now, I am an inveterate worrier. Sometimes it's big stuff, or it may even be just, will I find a parking space? There's certainly plenty to concern us just now. State of the world, wars, racial hatred, political unrest, and that's before we consider the devastating effects of the climate crisis. Closer to home, we have cracks in our church walls, the cost of running our church, etc. And then there's family challenges, friends in need, the poor. I could go on. So, in that verse, is Jesus saying, leave everything to God and it'll all be fine? Well, there can be some merit in that approach, but I just think we should delve a little deeper for a moment or two. I came across an AI-generated definition of the word worry, and it works for me. It says, the root cause of worry is fear and the unrealistic urge to control that which is uncertain. So often my fears turn out to be unfounded. I think that's because I always seem to focus on worst case scenario. And that in turn can make the worry take on unreal proportions. And what's the end result? Invariably, while I am seeking solutions to those potential problems that may or may not occur, I miss the critical issues. And this, I feel, is the nub of what Jesus was getting at in saying, do not worry. Remember Martha in Luke chapter 10, verses 38 to 42, so focused on feeding that large party that she missed the opportunity to listen to Jesus speak. The things we all worry about are very real to us, and God knows that. He knows what's eating away at us, and He's alongside us in our uneasiness or in our despair even. Did Jesus ever worry? He certainly had anxious moments. In Luke chapter 12, verse 50, Jesus, aware of what lies before him, he said, I have a baptism, a task that is, before me, and what stress I am under until it is completed. And then in the Garden of Gethsemane, the true depth of his anguish is revealed as his sweat became like great drops of blood. So where do we go to in the Bible to find ways of helping us to deal with our worries? In Philippians, Paul advises them to let their request be known to God by fervent, heartfelt prayer and supplication. The prophet Isaiah, it's in chapter 41, verse 10. He advises us to replace our fear with trust in God. And in that way, we can overcome our natural propensity to worry if we ask God to help us to control our fears and our concerns. Peter puts it more simply in 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 6 and 7. He encourages us to humble ourselves before God and cast our anxieties onto the Lord. Often, simply stopping to take time out in prayer can take the heat out of the situation. It's helpful to take a step back and break things down into bite-sized chunks. And that in turn gives us a chance to consider the things we can actually do something about. I'm not sure if you are familiar with the Serenity Prayer. It's by Reinhold Niebuhr. And I have to say, there are times when I find it really helpful, and I hope it'll be helpful for you too. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time. Taking this world as it is and not as I would have it. Trusting you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen.